Hey guys, it's Python and welcome back to another Haikyu Fly High video on the channel. We're back talking a little bit more about the changes about a team or a specific combination of characters that will help you a lot once the changes happen. Now, again, if you're not familiar with the changes that have happened on JP, please check out the last video and the one before that. I explained it there, mostly on the last video. And at the end of the last video, I mentioned 3 characters that are going to be really helpful for people to kind of take a look at for the changes once they happen. Now, listen, I'm not saying that you need to change your teams completely, because ultimately you need to enjoy the game up until the changes happen, right? So just enjoy the game, and if you don't care that much and you just want to play the game as it goes, this video is not going to be for you. Just enjoy the game, and when the changes come, you can deal with it afterwards. But if you are interested in planning towards and you are thinking of playing the game for a very long time, then maybe take a look at this. And even if you cannot build it exactly, you can kind of see the where I'm coming from. Now, a lot of people don't actually care about having the bonds on all of their teams. They just want 2 teams, so they're just not at disadvantage, even though the advantage now, obviously, as I mentioned before on the previous videos, is really good because it affects all your plays, not just your receives if you have a receive advantage, or your quick attacks if you have a quick attack advantage. It applies to everything. As long as you have the advantage, you still need the advantage, obviously. That's why having all your 4 teams will be better, but some people don't care about that and just want 2 teams. But if you want 2 teams, that's fine. I'm just more going to talk about kind of looking at some characters and how well they work, and how you can build a very, very strong account for once the changes happen. Again, I'm saying this might not be for everybody. You might not care that much about that, which is fine, but still you can take a bit of inspiration from some of the characters and how they work, and how versatile they are, I should say. So again, on the team builder, incredible. I will leave a link to it down below once again on the comments. I'll pin it. Hopefully I don't forget. All right, so the 3 characters that I mentioned at the end of the last video were Hinata, Kuro, and Hoshiumi. Now, Hoshiumi goes without saying. He's got 3 playstyles. He's the character with the most. He's got a block, receive, and power attack playstyle here at the bottom. And then I picked up Kuro and Hinata because their playstyle combinations are quite unusual. Kuro has got block and receive, and Hinata has got quick attack and receive, which is the only quick attack and receive unit in the game. And it's and it's incredible. So it's very rare. Now, to expand on that, I will be adding 2 other characters, which are going to be SP Kenma and SP Tsukishima. Now, Tsukishima has got 2 playstyles in quick attack and block, and Kenma has got a receive playstyle, because setters only have 1 playstyle. So the reason why they're here is, first of all, the bonds that these have are incredible. You already have 4 bonds just from these 4. Hoshiuma's not doing anything, as you can see here down here at the synergies, and they're all extremely good. Especially Hinata's bonds, they help Hinata out a lot. Their bond is incredible. Excuse me. Tsukishima and Kuro's bond is incredible, and their bond actually is a quick attack, so it's not a passive bond, it's just a quick attack combo skill, which can really be helpful later, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, these 4, the bonds that they have, are so helpful, and that's why, in my opinion, these 5 units together work extremely well. And I feel like 5 units is something that a lot of people can have as free to play. 5 is a safe number. You can definitely get 5, in my opinion, as free to play by the time we catch up on with JP, is what I mean. Which I believe there's like 20 now, up until the changes, is what I mean, right? So Kuro is the last before the changes. I believe that he's the 20th SP or UR. So if you, I feel like as a free to play, you can grab 5. If you get completely unlucky, if you get a bit lucky, you can probably grab a 6th, which in my opinion would be Ushijima. And since a lot of people already have Ushijima, maybe from when if they rerolled from the beginning, or if they grabbed him, this works out really well. Now, if you've already committed to something, or if you're waiting for the twins or something, listen, maybe you cannot build this exactly, right? You cannot have this core, because it's not a team, but you cannot have this core exactly but you can see the influence in some of these units, and I will show you about Kuro, especially of how good he can be, and how versatile he can be. But maybe you can take inspiration of some of these. A couple of other characters that I'd like to mention are, of course, listen, if you don't get them, it's fine, are Hirogami, of course, with Hoshimi. Before the changes, these two are incredible together. After the changes, Hirogami does lose a bit of value because he's only a block style, only has the block play style, whereas Hoshiumi's got 3, but because he has the bond with Hoshimi, he's one of the best units to kind of carry. So even if you're not... Even if he doesn't have the playstyle, he's not a bad one to have in your team because of the bond he has with Hoshimi. So he would be a mention as the 6th character. And then last one would be Kageyama. Now Kageyama for me, and this is where the kind of the toughness of this comes in, is because when Hoshimi drops, Hirogami drops, then Kageyama drops, then Hinata drops, then Kenma drops. This was the order that they did it in on JP. Again, they might change the order. They already did change it on global with Bokuto and Oikawa. Some people think that is because they're following the Taiwan server. I don't think that's really the reason. I kind of feel like the reason is because of the SSRs, because it wouldn't really make sense to drop Bokuto with no Fukurodani SSRs, especially Akashi, and I feel like they have to kind of drop the Shiratorizawa SSRs first because they are on the SP select banner, right? If I go in here, because here on the SP banner you can select 3 SSRs up until the Shiratorizawa players to kind of have in the box as the only SSRs in the box. So if you do pull an SSR, they're going to be the only ones that show up, are they going to be the 3 that you select. And it goes all the way up to Shiratorizawa. Of course, in the select banner, you can pick anybody, right? You can choose anyone up until Inarizaki, right? So there's a lot more to be added to the SPs, which will probably be added in the future. But as of now, it only goes up to Shiratorizawa. That's why I feel like they kind of had to get the Shiratorizawa SSRs out first. But again, this is just my opinion. That could be completely wrong, and they could just be following the Taiwan server, like people are saying. But I just feel like it has to do with the SSRs, because dropping Bokuto with no Akashi and no Fukurodani doesn't really make sense. Anyways, that's besides the point. So this is why I'm saying if they do go back to the following the order, when Hoshimi comes out, Hirogami comes out straight after, then Kageyama, then Hinata, then Kenma. So for me, Kageyama would be a skip definitely, and then maybe you can grab him when he comes back, and then Hirogami, you're probably gonna have to skip as well. And kind of maybe grab when he comes back, maybe not. He's not necessary, and we're gonna see here on the team. So for me, these 5 are very good, very key, and they work really well together, and we're gonna build 4 teams with them. 3 of them they're gonna be extremely good in. Of course, the 4th one is gonna be the power attack, which is kind of what we need, a power attacker in Ushijima or Oikawa. Either one would be nice. I'd personally prefer Ushijima. I think Ushijima is slightly better to have like only him on the team, but we're gonna take a look at that in a moment as we get into the first team, which is gonna be actually just starting off with everybody's gonna be here, all of your SPs. And this is the thing, right? You want to make use of your SPs and URs, right? You don't want to have like, oh, I have the twins, this is my quick attack team, and then when I switch to my power attack team, I don't have the twins anymore, I'm not using them anymore. You want to use the SPs and the URs that you get, right? You want to use them. You don't want to just have them for one team only. So these 4 are super versatile, and you can use them in multiple teams. So starting off with the first one, which is as just by putting them in here, outside of Tsukishima, 4 of these have receive playstyle, so you already have the receive playstyle active. It doesn't show up here because the receive you need 5 minimum, and that's because the Libero again is always a receive type, so that's why for receive you need 5 instead of 4, even though it technically is still 4, because the Libero is always whatever Libero you pick. They're all receive type only, right? All of them are just receive type. So for the Libero, I would go for Nishinoya, so that at the opposite, you can go for Daichi. And here you have a 20% in receive. You're gonna have a 20% bonus when you go up against quick attack teams. Tsukishima, again, is the only one that you do not, that does not have a receive team. Oops, I rotated the team. It doesn't really matter. I'm not doing the order. But for a receive team, by the way, you've got 3 players with block skills in Kuro, Tsukishima, and Hoshiumi. which is incredible. You got an incredible amount of bonds. Look at how many bonds you have. You've got the Karasno School bond, you've got the 4 as well. So yeah, the bonds with these 4 are gonna be so good, and they're gonna be in a lot of your teams, in a lot of variations. And there's other variations of the receive team that we're gonna talk about in a moment once we get to the other teams. Going on to the second team is gonna be the block team. Now for the block team, first of all, you want to have your 2 block units that you already have. And I'm gonna put in Hiroshima as well. So these are the 3 block units that you have. I'm not gonna put Hinata and Kenma for now. And I'm actually for now gonna put Hirogami in there in case you do happen to get Hirogami. I'll do one without Hirogami. I just kind of wanted to put this in here to emphasize how good of a team this will be with Kogane and with Futakuchi. Again, SSRs become much more accessible once they're in the all select banner, so getting Kogane and Futakuchi, especially since they are since they're going to be on the UR banners as well, before we get onto the SP selection ones, they're going to be easily accessible, so hopefully you can have them, and they are actually really good. And this is an all-out block team. You have a 25% advantage when you play against your power attack team. So when you go up against power attack, you have a 25% increase, and you are actually going all out on the block aspect of your game, because the 3 bonds that you have, these 2 increase the block of the front row players, and they individually also increase the block of your players with their own skills. The second one is these 2, Hirogami Oshumi, that increase the block of the front row players even more. And you've got these 2 whose bond is incredible and increases all your players' stats by 6%. Then they debuff, the opponent's power spike and quick attack spike by 10%, and it stacks up to 20%, and it cannot be removed. So if you go up against your power attack, you go up against Oshijima, who removes debuffs. No. The second one cannot be removed, and you're going all out on the block aspect. 25% increase. This is a crazy block team. Now, if you don't have, and again, the Libero doesn't matter, but it does matter if you don't have Hirogami. If you don't have Hirogami and you want to keep the 25% block increase, again, you're going to lose the bond here, which is really good. But you can go with Liev. You can go with Liev here as an option. Again, you could go with Aone as well, right? You could go with Aone in here. You can go with Aone. He's got a attack skill, a block skill with Futakuchi as well, but you don't kind of need it because everybody here has block skills, including Kogane. Everybody's got block skills. Kuros and Futakuchi's and Hirogami's being ults as well, so you're pretty good on that aspect. So yeah, this would be, if you don't have Hirogami, this would be another option, another variation that you could go for. Or what you could go for is you could keep Kenma or Hinata. Preferably Kenma. You could go for Kenma here instead of Kogane or Futakuchi, and you could get the Nekoma school bonus. Yes, you're gonna give up 5% on your team advantage. You're gonna go from 25 to 20%, but you're gonna get the bonds, the quick attack skill with Kuro, which Yaku helps out a lot. And we're gonna see, because we're gonna build the quick attack team next. Yaku, of course, helps out a lot. He's out on global, so a lot of people will know that he helps out a lot with your quick attack plays. You get the Nekoma school bonus. And you're good to go. Again, you could also go with Hinata. Here it says receive 5, but you also have the block at 4. It just shows up because there's one more for receive, but you can change it to block. And this was the other variation of the receive team, right? With Yaku and Liev to get the Nekoma school bonus, but I think getting the Karasuno school bonus to keep the extra 5% is better. So this would be better in my opinion if you want to go for the receive. But if you want to go for the block, this also would work out. You get Hinata in there. That helps the bonds, right? So his bond with Tsukishima and Kenma are going to be available. Really good. But of course, you can just keep either Kogane or Futakuchi in here. If you keep Kogane, you put him opposite of Kenma, so the Libero swaps out with the setter, if you want to do that. But you could go for Futakuchi as well, for sure. And this would be really good, really awesome. Or you could keep this like this, by the way, if you're going to go kind of all out on the block. But for me, this would be the more sensible one to go for. You go for Futakuchi, you go for Kogane, you could even go for Aone in here if you want. Any blocker really here works well. I think Futakuchi is really good because he increases the block of the allies, so I think it's really good. And you've got 2 receive units. You've got 2 units with receive skills, excluding the libero in Kuro and Hoshigumi. Kuro and Hoshigumi have receive skills, so even on your all block team or almost all block team, depending on what percentage you go for, you're gonna have 2 receive units because of that receive and block playstyle combo that they have, which is so good. Moving on to the other one, the quick attack team. Now this one is gonna have the lowest percentage, is gonna be only a 15%, but again, as I said above before, the bonds are so strong. So these two don't have a quick attack playstyle, but you're still gonna have them. You're gonna have the 4 of them together again. These two, of course, have quick attack, and again, I don't need to talk about the bonds. We're gonna go for Yaku and Liev again to get the Nekoma school bonus, to get their bonus with Yaku and Liev, and to get the Yaku in the team to help with quick attacks even more. Now here, you can go for any quick attacker if you can. When Kageyama comes back, pull Kageyama in here. This would be incredible and this would be amazing. But if you cannot, that's completely fine. You can go for any quick attacker, maybe Aone in here. That will be fine, and you can have a block or quick attack, so you could use this for your block team, as I said, right? Kind of similar to this. Well, you kind of need Hoshumi. You would have Hoshumi if it was block. But yeah, for your quick attack variation, if you can get Kageyama in here, this would be amazing. And if you do, you can even switch to a Karasuno team. You can switch to this Nishinoya or this Nishinoya, which is even better because he has a bond with Kageyama, but maybe that's a bit too much. So you could do this. I personally prefer Yaku because he helps with quick attack. Of course, the Karasuno school bond gives you a 10% quick attack increase, so it's you know, it's interesting to see. So this would be ideal. But if not, with Aone, it's fine. It's fine. It's not as good as the other two, but it's still really, really good. Because look at the amount of bonds that you have. If I remove Kageyama in here, look at the amount of bonds that you have still. The bonds make a massive difference, guys. They really do. Especially since you have all these teams, right? You need multiple teams. And this being your 3rd best team, this for being a 3rd best team is really good. And now we are onto the power attack. And this is where you kind of need your 6th unit. To come in, and look at this, guys. We're using Kuro, Tsukishima, Kenma on 1 teams, on 2 teams, on 3 teams, and Hinata on 2 teams that you can put on here as well. You can put Hinata in there as well, depending on how you feel about it. And maybe you should. Maybe you should, to get their bonds. It's probably worth more than 5% increase. So maybe you should do this, to be fair. Again, for the power attack, you want Hoshimi. He's the only power attacker that you have that's an SP or UR. Then here's the 6th unit, which would be Yoshijima, right? For the other 2, if you have Hirogami, you go for Hirogami. If not, I would go for Kuro and I would go for Tsukishima yet again, getting used because their bond is really, really, really strong. They don't have the power attack playstyle, obviously, so that means that you're gonna have to go for the other 2 to be power attack units, and you can just go for the Shiratorizawa school bond like this. And this would be amazing. This would be an incredible team. If you have Oikawa as well, right? You can go for Oikawa in here and play with 2 setters. This would be cool as well. This would be really fine. You got Kura as your main blocker. Oshumi's got a block as well. You can go with Tsukishima in here if you don't have Oikawa. So having Ushijima or Oikawa, you can build a variation with Oikawa if you don't have Ushijima in here. Something else. It just helps a lot having this 6th power attacker. So yeah, after the changes, I would say that this would be the best combination of units to have for after the changes. And I feel like 5 is a definite for free-to-play players. You can definitely grab 5, I feel like, by the time we catch up. 6, I feel like, is also doable. Maybe even 7 or 8, if you get a bit lucky. So, yeah, I would say if you are thinking about a 7th or an 8th, ideally it would be Kageyama and Hirogami, right? Especially since this is going to help you before the changes, because the issue is the team that you build before the changes and the team that you build before the changes is going to be kind of similar to the team after, because not including Tsukishima and Kuro, because they kind of happen straight after the changes, right? Not straight after the changes, right? Sorry, the changes happen straight after Kuro, right? So you would probably look at something like this. right? Something like this, which is kind of close to what people are trying to build right now, which is this, right? And this is definitely a better variation for before the changes happen. This is most definitely a better variation, but and if you can get this and grab these two as well, this would be ideal, but I don't know if that's possible. So this would be fine as well. It wouldn't be ideal, it wouldn't be as good as the other one, but it will still be fine if you really want to build for the changes, for when they happen, and you can have a ridiculously good receive team, a ridiculously good block team, a very good quick attack team that can be extremely good as well if you grab Kageyama in here, and a good power attack team, a quite good power attack team in there as well. That again, if you do have these, you can kind of go for that with those two, with Oikawa and Kirugami. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this kind of gave you an idea. In my opinion, maybe going for a backup account and trying this, or again, this is not a bad team to build. This is not a bad team to build waiting for the changes. Again, as I said, if you have these two, it's just better, but preparing for the changes, this would help you out a lot more. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time. As I said before, right, this is not going to be for everybody. This is going to be for people that kind of want to get 4 very strong teams once the changes happen. And I think that the 4 that I showed you, the 5 that I showed you, well, the 6th with Ushijima, but these 5 especially are really helpful, and are in a lot of teams. As far as Kishima and Kuro, they were in all the teams. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.